All right, everybody, welcome to the Express Entry Law Q&A. So this is a flashback from something that I used to do a lot previously. And so I thought, hey, I'm going to jump back and I'm going to do a little retro Express Entry live Q&A, which was really where it all got started. So this is the Q&A where you can bring your toughest questions, and yes, I will be here to answer them. So we'll wait a little bit for people to connect in, and we'll see how many people are actually interested in doing an Express Entry Live Q&A. So we're trying to broadcast out to Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and all those places. And I've had a heck of a time this morning and all this afternoon trying to figure out how to work Facebook. When I originally did Facebook Lives, it was the bread and butter. It was the thing that I did more than anything else. But then over time, Facebook apparently just didn't like what I was doing. And now it's all about the lives, right? It's all about adding dynamic elements into it, including, well, music. And so we've got our own private music and everything that we use for these normally and our intros. But good old Facebook, even in my private group, it's still getting blocked. And for those of you who have not yet seen or are aware of the private group, this is it right here. And I'll just adjust it just a little bit so that you guys can see the whole screen. But this Express Entry Law private Facebook group, you can see there's 125,000 people in here. When I try to go live in here, it just doesn't work. So I don't know what the issue is. I'll be honest. I am completely flabbergasted because even when I go in here, let me try to refresh the page. We'll see if it's live. And yeah, so it should be right here. But okay, well, it looks like we do have some action. So they haven't blocked me yet. So I guess we'll see. That's a positive. That's a positive. I am no tech person, you guys. I have tried to evolve and get better at this, but I am no tech person. So we'll see how YouTube does. For whatever reason, it seems like even my scheduled lives don't do as well as just going live. So I don't know. The most important thing is that I give you guys content that can actually help you. But really, it just comes down to the interests of people and the ways in which I can best reach them. I've started doing some shorts as well to get the message out, but boy, there's just so much good content in here when I'm answering questions and helping people. And I just want to have it reach as many people as possible, but social media has been very difficult for me, especially of late. So we'll see how all of this pans out, but yeah, ask me your toughest question. That's what today is all about. So we'll see how we do here. And those of you who are, those of you who are tuned in, I will, well, the more questions you give me, the better this live stream will be. All right. Okay, let's jump in and let's start. The first question is from Diana, and she says, spousal work permit extension for the postgrad work permit holders not super clear with the new changes. Are 3 pay slips still needed, or can we apply as soon as the graduate gets a job? Thanks for your help. Okay, so Diana, what I'd like you to do is to post in the group this link. So you are referring to some new changes, and whenever people say this, like sometimes I know about things that have changed a long time ago and then people just stumble upon them. So Diana, if you can post in the group a link to wherever it is that you feel the changes you're referring to, that's what I'd like to have you do if you can. Okay. All right. So let's keep zipping through here. Keneal says, why is this? And do you foresee an upfront medical requirement? Okay, why is this? And do you see an upfront medical requirement on any upcoming programs to be announced soon by Minister Fraser? I always will err on the side of caution, Keneal, and do an immigration medical. You know, if it's been a while since you've had one or you've never done one, you will need one if you're going through a permanent resident process. So there's a lot of uncertainty. And as far as I'm concerned, I just don't take chances. And yes, it costs a little bit of money to get an updated one. If it's been one that's been done within the last year, well, then of course you're not going to need to do a new one at the time in which you submit your PR application. But IRCC always reserves the right to do whatever the heck they want. So Okay. Elareza says, I'm an FSW. My AOR December 2020. After a long wait, 29th of June, I had GU, and my background changed to we are processing, but 83 days passed, nothing changed. Yeah. Any guidance, please help. There's not much that I can tell you, Elareza. We're starting to see many of the old applications finally getting, completed. And I don't know if you had changes within your profile, if there was, after you submitted your EAPR, if you had additional document requests or what it was. And also the country that you come from. Sometimes the background checks take a little bit longer. But yeah, as far as what to do after sitting and waiting, well, that's been the reality of this world, right? The reality is that unfortunately, there's been time and time again, delays and delays and delays by IRCC. And I know it doesn't really help you, Lareza, but the reality is I'm seeing usually about 60 days, I'm seeing movement, but there's so many factors at play. I don't know if you've had issues previously with immigration that's caused delays. So all of those things kind of click in. Diana says, by the way, we were super lucky our puppy stayed home. He is. Oh, I still have the puppy cam here, the Simba cam. There he is. He is looking out the window, and my wife is going to be coming home this evening. So I think he almost senses it. He'll be so excited. Oh my goodness. He'll be so excited when she gets home. All right, let's see here. Okay. And as you can see, this right now, I want to just emphasize that what we're covering today is really express entry. So the questions I'm going to address are ones that relate specifically to express entry. On Wednesday, I will be doing another live. That's my Canada Immigration live stream. But today we're going to focus just on express entry. So I'm only going to pull those questions. If you have questions about other things, some of you have kind of slid in a few questions, I'm going to revert back and make sure that the focus here is all on express entry. Okay, let's see what is next. The next question here. Let's see here. Aziz says, hey, Mr. Mark, how are you doing? I'm doing fantastic, my friend. Okay. All right. Sahith says, if someone gives a police clearance certificate now and moves to Canada, does them again need to give police clearance certificate again after invitation comes? So how it works, Sahith, if the police clearance was obtained, that certificate, when you were in that country, then it's valid for 6 months. And how do I know this stuff? Well, one, I understand the policy that IRCC applies, but I've seen time and time again, people whose applications got rejected because they waited until 6 months had passed and then submitted their EAPR application with an older police clearance certificate. But as long as you were there, if you were in that country when it was issued, then it's only valid for 6 months. You need to file before 6 months. If you left and then got your police clearance certificate, then it's going to be valid. It won't expire as long as you don't go back. And you think about it intuitively. Why would they have that policy? Well, technically, I guess you could get your police clearance certificate and then 2 days later commit a crime, and when you look at the other scenario I explained, where you get your police clearance certificate after you left that country, well, if you've never gone back, then it's going to be pretty hard for you to commit a crime, generally speaking, in that country. I'm not talking about cybercrime or things like that, but I think you get the picture. So there you go. Okay, let's see here. Okay, well, I'll touch on this one, Newton. So this has to do with M44. In your opinion, do you think that co-op work experience for international students could get some credit for immigration purposes? I doubt it. I really, really doubt it, Newton. The rule is that you cannot claim Canadian work experience while you were, enrolled in full-time studies, and co-op is technically full-time studies. And it's just work experience component to that program. So I don't see anything changing with that one, Newton. Now, obviously, the TR to PR pathway where they pulled in international students, that was a real rare situation. I think most people now are going to have to count. They're not going to be eligible until they have Canadian work experience. All right, let's see what's next. Yeah, Andre, I get lots of people, same questions, right? Application stalled out and you are in the very, very same boat. to a large extent as Alareza here as well. So you guys are both kind of stuck, and it sucks. I know it does, but I don't really have any insight on this. You know, for a while, for a number of years, I would try to offer some form of, some form of direction. Here's what I heard on the street. You know, this is what our most recent experience has been. But I've been just so frustrated time and time again. Just when I think I have it figured out how long things are taking, then, you know, things will sit for, I don't know, an eternity, an extremely long period of time. So, so in your situation, I can't give you any idea, you know, what to expect given the uncertainty that immigration has had over really since the pandemic, since March of 2020. Okay, let's see here. Let's see what's next. We have here, Aziz also asked this question. Okay, I did apply for nomination AOS on last May. I got nominated on August 16th, submitted my PR application August 22nd. How long will it take for the file number and medical, Mr. Mark? So this is something immigration. So August the 22nd, you're still well within. So you haven't said a year. So I'm assuming it's this year. Generally speaking, it's taking anywhere from 3 to almost 4 months to get the official acknowledgement of receipt on those paper-based applications, even though you filed them through the PR portal. So it kind of sucks. It really does. But that's kind of where we're sitting right now. And obviously you can see the lengthy processing times. They're off the charts. So we're 20 plus months to file, to process those applications. Okay. Math says I have 439 CRS score with 1 year of experience living in Quebec. Should I move from Quebec ASAP? Do you suggest to try for other PNPs rather than waiting for CEC? So these questions are always best suited for immigration consultations, Maths, because to start with, yes, if you're in Quebec, then you are only going to be able to pursue Quebec-based programs. All of the other federal economic programs require you to demonstrate an intention to live outside of Quebec. So that can be a huge issue if you are in Quebec and you get an invitation to apply, and then you're trying to justify to IRCC how you have an intention to live outside, even though you've always lived in Quebec. So, but I will never, ever give you advice, Maths master, to move until I've had a chance to actually talk to you. And this is probably a good lead in. If I share my screen with you guys here, you'll see this is where you can book a consult. But I've had a lot of discussions with my staff, and I'm not sure if the other ones have changed, but I've made the decision, and you can see here, my previous rate was $315. I've made a decision that for the month of September only, I'm going to give $100 off my consults. And I can see what this inflation is doing to people. So for the month of September until the end of September, anyone who books a consultation, they will be able to get me at $210, which is inclusive of the 5% GST for my consult, which is $100 off the regular rate. And that's just a way for me to try to recognize with people that I know you guys are hurting. I know that inflation all over the world is it's crazy. You know, I just went the other day to get groceries with my son for our family, and we have 5 in our family, 5 adults really. And we got, I think it was 3 brown paper bags full of groceries, and it was over $200. And that's just trying to eat healthy, you know, fruits and vegetables and things like that. And I know you guys are all, you know, that you're all struggling. And so anything that I can do to relieve some of the pressure, especially when you need help. And so Maths, I would strongly encourage you to slide over and book a consult so that we can talk about the options. But yeah, PNPs may be possible, but when you have experience in one province and you're moving to another, they will always doubt that new province if your ties are really with the old one, and that are you really going to be staying there and living there? That's really the question that they ask. Okay. All right, let's click on this one here. Okay, so Jan says, hello, can you please give advice between profile with the CRS 469, my wife accompanying me, or choose to have a better CRS 493 and sponsor her after coming to Canada? What are the cons of these two measures? Okay, this is a great question. When you're deciding what to do, obviously you have to look at the long-term prognosis. Does it look like I will ever get a chance at 469? Will I ever get an opportunity? Well, the biggest thing right now, Jans, is that we don't know what Minister Fraser is going to do. On the 20th, 2 days from now, theoretically, he's supposed to table something to Cabinet and to Parliament on this new measures that they're going to do to help foreign workers transition to PR in Canada. Now, we don't know if that's going to be changes to express entry. We're not sure if it's going to be a new program. But one thing that we do know is that he has the ability, he's got a lot of different tools in his toolbox. He has the ability to do a targeted draw for a specific occupation, and maybe he gives 200 points for that, right? And so in your situation, maybe you might be sitting at 469, but you have the right work experience. And then in that case, if your spouse is accompanying you, even at 469, you have an ITA that allows you to move forward with her. If you list her as non-accompanying and then try to add her in after, and it affects your points negatively and your score drops down below the round of invitation level, then you can have your PR application basically refused. So in this case, until we know exactly what the minister has in mind, I just wait a couple more days and then we'll get a better picture and then we can actually make decisions. Obviously, one of the cons of listing your wife as non-accompanying is that you have to then sponsor her after. And processing times, even in the best of circumstances, are at least a year. So once you become a permanent resident, you're separated from them and you can't go back there and live with them. As a permanent resident, you have to stay in Canada. You can go back and visit, but only Canadian citizens can be living abroad with their spouse and then sponsor them to then come back to Canada once they've got their application approved. So those are some big, big factors that you have to consider. And, you know, I usually will ring that little bell and that tells people slide over here and book a consult and take advantage right now of the $100 off. And usually my rate, and Alicia, we haven't adjusted hers, but she's going to drop hers down as well, the same as mine. Chanel's at 189 and probably Cedric, I imagine, will drop his down too. But the whole goal here is to make us more accessible. We're just seeing, you guys, too many people that are, you know, they're just questioning, oh, do I want to spend that money? And then they make mistakes. And then they end up having to pay way more to try to fix it. And in many cases, when they do make mistakes and they do choose to pay, you know, to have a consult, there's often not much that we can do at that stage and we're just stuck. And there is nothing worse than to have to tell a client, if you'd only come to me, you know, 6 months before or a year before, I could have helped you to navigate this. And that initial consult, that strategic planning is so, so valuable for people because sometimes you'll go down a path you think is right and you don't realize that it's a dead end path. What's an example of that? Well, a simple example of that is someone who comes and studies in Canada for 1 year on a 1 year program. Awful. Just if you plan on becoming a permanent resident, nothing good is going to come from that. You're going to be really, really hard pressed to get PR. And it I wish people were more transparent. And when I say people, I mean education agents and private schools. Okay. Okay, so this one, Manpreet says, I'm a student in Canada for 1 year. Oh, 1 year program. This is exact situation, Manpreet. Okay, master's, 3 years of work experience in India, NOC A. Should I take another course or would I be able to make the PR with 1 year work permit? If you have an option, Manpreet, I would take another course so that you have the ability to get a 3-year open work permit. Just 1 year isn't enough. It's just not. And as long as you haven't applied for your postgrad work permit right now, you know, and obviously you're a student for a 1 year program, you can stack those programs to get more years of postgrad work permit, but it's just, it's so painful. And same thing, you know, same as I've discussed with everyone. If you have questions, especially when you're asking specific things, it's just so much better to just slide over, click on the link below and book a consult so that we can go through things in detail. I don't get enough information out of these comments in the YouTube feed to be able to answer questions properly. But for you, and just like a lot of other people, if you've taken a 1 year program, it's tough. And once you've got that postgrad, even if it's only been issued 1 year, you've burned it up. And unless there's some magical post-grad work permit course, which I think you guys are probably aware that I have a post-grad work permit course that people can still subscribe to right here. And all you have to do is go to the Canadian Immigration Institute website and then just scroll down till you get to the courses, and you can see there's one for spouses that's coming up October, although you can access all the material now and get prepared for the master class. And then I've got the postgrad one that's live and open right now, and it will be open until the end of December. And that's a step-by-step walkthrough to help you make sure you don't screw it up. And boy, if people make a mistake and after December 31st passes, there's no going back. There's no going back. And then on Monday, just another little announcement. Monday is the Express Entry course. I am going to be doing the first masterclass on Monday. So if you have not had a chance to subscribe to this course, please do and join me. There are there's 4 hours of one-on-one, basically me and the people that have registered for the course that are those live streams that I'm going to be doing from 4 to 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday this coming week. All right. So subscribe if you have not, and let me help you help yourself. Okay. Okay. Godwin says, I got my PCC a year now. Will my PCC be valid if I never went back to my home country? If you obtained it, Godwin, after you left and then you have not returned, then it's still valid. Okay. Let's see what's next here. Okay. Curious says, hello, can I prepare a proof of funds letter and employment reference letter with my current employer before receiving an ITA, hoping to avoid any delays? Yeah, you can. The one issue with current employers is that whatever the date is on that reference letter with your current employer is that it, you won't be able to get credit for any other work experience beyond the date that it was actually signed. When it comes to proof of funds, we do like to have that relatively, if you're confident you're going to get an invitation to apply, then I will go full bore and get everything ready. If we're still a little bit uncertain, then at that stage, I assess whether or not I think I can get that document quick or whether it will take a long time. If I know that it's going to take a long time to get the proof of funds letter from the bank, then I will start doing that now. It's all about timing, right? It's about kind of trying to predict, do I think I'm going to get an ITA? How long does it take to get that document? If it takes a long time to get it, then yes, I'll start early. If I know I can get it really fast, like I can book a medical appointment and get it within a week, then sometimes I will hold off and not do that till I know for certain that I've got that invitation to apply and I'm moving forward. You don't want to spend a lot of money on things unless you know for certain that you're going to have a chance. And immigration medicals can be expensive. Bank letters don't cost anything. Reference letters don't cost anything, but those are some of the factors that I would definitely focus on. And in the course, we actually go into depth with all of the different documents that people need. We cover this extensively. And I've got a lot of different variations within the course for the simple reason, and here's what it would look like for you. When it comes to mastering your documents, there are individual lessons that cover each of the documents that you need. And there are extensive on-demand videos that go with each of these, as well as just a whole host of additional information, sample reference letters. You can see I've got 30 here. So there's a ton of sample reference letters. I use a NOC selection tool that helps me to basically draft letters of explanation that are going to be very persuasive to officers to make sure they agree that I've got the right NOC code. What if I can't get a reference letter? I've got a resource for that. Hours of work calculating tools, we've got that. So there's a bunch of things in there that, on top of the 10 hours of on-demand content walking you through the whole process. So those are all things that we talk about, including your question, Kyria. Okay. And yes. And remember, there's like about 20, I don't know what it is. It's let's just see here. It is, what do we got here? Yeah, it's about 21 hours, I guess, before the cart closes on that. And we usually, the last one I did, I think was last June. So we've not done a lot of these. And so, yeah, I'm not sure when we're going to do another one. So if you want to take advantage of this, I recommend that you do it right away. Okay, let's get back to the next question. Okay, good pizza. That's awesome. That's actually quite funny. I have an independent contractor experience and worked like a normal full-time employee. My coworker's CEC application was approved. Will I need to write an explanation letter when I apply for CEC? Well, my question is, what did your coworker put in there? And I see this all the time, you guys. People say, oh, I was an independent contractor and immigration didn't have a problem with it. If they know that you are an independent contractor, they will not accept that work experience. If someone went through, then I have to assume that the letter that the employer gave implied that they were an employee and not a contractor, or there was something that was represented in the application in such a way that the officer didn't think that that the individual was self-employed. And when you're an independent contractor, you are self-employed. And that comes, you can look up the specific provisions right in the Immigration and Refugee Protection Regulations, and you know, it's right, it's outright. You can't count work experience that was gained in Canada while you were an independent contractor. And so, yeah, it's hard to say good pizza, but you know, now's the time to take advantage of the consult, and we can talk about that in depth. But yeah, there's, as far as a letter of explanation, that's not going to help. You have to show, are you, you know, were you issued a T4? Is the employer remitting taxes on your behalf? Those are indicia of an employment relationship, not one of an independent contractor. Independent contractors are responsible for their own taxes. And that's really the difference. So if you don't have T4s, you don't have pay slips in the normal way, then you are likely not an employee. Boy, I have a lot of consults like that. Okay. Let's see what's next. Okay. Sahith says, I'm on a postgrad work permit. Can I do two full-time jobs at the same time and still eligible to apply for express entry? Yeah. Like there's no issues with you doing that. But remember, you can only really count one of them. So you can't count two working full-time, say for 6 months, and then count it as a year. It doesn't work that way. You can only count up to 30 hours a week. And then after that, you don't get credit for any more. So there's no bonus points for working two full-time positions at the same time. You just have to choose which one you're going to include and as your work experience. Oh boy. I think I was up too late last night doing the live stream I did last night. Okay, let's see who's next here. Anil, hello. I will give you a shout out. And Anil, let's see. You can see this. This is what I deal with. My poor little Simba there. He has not budged. Let's see if we can get his attention here. Hey, Simba. How you doing? Are you doing good? You waiting for mommy? Yep. All right. He's waiting for mommy. And back he goes. Oh, that dog. He's hilarious. That's what we call the Simba cam, you guys. The Simba cam. Something new I've started. All right. Okay. All right. So Manzoor says, I came to Canada in 2018 and I never went back to my country. I got my PCC in 2021. And right now I'm in the express entry draw. Also waiting for TR to PR. So I renew my PCC, or the PCC I have I can finish that for you, Manzoor. If you've never gone back and you obtained it after you left, then your 2021 PCC is perfectly fine. Now, like I indicate in some of the shorts that I did, IRCC can always come back and ask for updates for any of the documents that you submit. But submitting that police clearance certificate for the purposes of express entry is not going to be an issue at all. It's still valid. You've never gone back there. So technically that police, well, not technically, there's, you know, this is something that IRCC will accept. Okay. Okay, Curious says there was some confusion as to express entry processing times. Is it 20 plus months or 6 months for new applications? Okay, I've explained this quite a bit before, but let's just go together and let's take a look, because it's all about teaching, right? So if I just type in IRCC processing times, I had a discussion with Minister Sean Fraser right here, this dude. Okay. I had a discussion with him earlier this year. And this is one of the things that we're talking about was the processing times. So up until fairly recently, when you went and you searched for economic programs, economic immigration, and then you search for, well, it's either Canadian Experience Class, the Federal Skilled Worker Program, we'll go with CEC, and you click Get Processing Times, that what would show here is 6 months. which was their service level standards, what they were trying to achieve based on what they told the world they were going to shoot for, and not reality. So right now, this is what they're listing for Canadian Experience class online, 15 months. So this is the time that you go with. Now, with that being said, we've had clients who've had their applications processed more quickly, but this is as far as we can go. We have to trust that information. So for CEC, it is 15 months. Now, if we also, let's shift back and I'll just show you this again. If we chose federal skilled worker, you will see here that it is 26 months. And when was it last updated? Well, about 5 days ago on September the 13th, or it's the 18th today that we're recording. All right, good question. Okay, Sam, hey, how's it going, my friend? Good to see you. Okay, let's see here. Okay, here's another question from Manpreet. You know what, Manpreet? I'm going to give you one of these, my friend, because this is a good question. During the drop period on study permit, if I work in NOC B full-time, will it be considered as work experience for Canadian Experience? Now, drop, I'm assuming like regular scheduled breaks. So in the regular scheduled breaks, yes, you can work full-time, but as long as you are enrolled as a full-time student, you cannot count that work experience towards the Canadian Experience class. So as Canadian Experience. All right. Okay, Aziz, you are very, very welcome. Okay, let's see. Anil says you're really helpful. You're very welcome, Anil. All right, let's see if we can get to the next. Okay, Sam, what does Sam says? I'll be booking another consult soon to discuss the Manitoba PNP. I've been working with my current employer in Winnipeg for nearly 6 months. That is awesome, Sam. And I'm not sure if you caught it. So one of the things that I did announce here. So this is how you go to book a consult. Just go to holthelaw.com/consult. And when you do it and you go to our site, you will see right here that for the month of September, I am giving $100 off my regular consult rate and $200 off the consult rate for 50-minute consults. So $210 Canadian for a 25-minute and $420 for a 50-minute. So you can see Alicia is going to be adjusting hers, but previously my rates were at $300 and $600. So that is just some way that I can try to give back and help people because I know what it's like, with my family. I'll be honest, it is not easy, properly feeding my kids. It's not easy supporting my family. And I don't know, sometimes I think people think, oh, Mark must be this rich lawyer. Well, I am not, you guys. I have a mother, an elderly mother that I financially support. I have brothers that I help periodically. And then my own family with 2 children in university, one serving a mission down in Chile. And my youngest daughter is actually in 12th grade or grade 12, a senior here in high school, and she's finishing school. So this is the most expensive time of my life. And so, yes, there is not a lot of disposable cash in the Holthe home, but this stuff is regardless of that. The reason I do this is to try to help, to make a difference in the world. And I think people don't really believe that. Maybe they don't. I don't know. Maybe people do. But, yes, I want to get my name out. Yes, I want people to hire us. Yes, I want people to join me. Like I absolutely do want people to join me in my Express Entry course tomorrow. Why? Yes, I love the money that comes in from people that purchase it. But as a former teacher, as a former immigration officer, these master classes are the opportunity I have to answer questions that I could never answer in live streams like this, where people have the chance to go through all of the 10 hours of video content. Every single video is specific and targeted to a specific aspect of the Express Entry process. And once you go through all those modules and then hit the actual document section, I'll tell you guys, you come out of that course, and if you watch those videos, you will know more about Express Entry than the vast majority of immigration consultants and immigration lawyers. So that, it puts you in a phenomenal position to then be able to actually succeed the first time. And sometimes the first time is your only shot. And in many regards, you don't get a second chance. So there we go. Let's keep zipping through here. Aziz says, you're awesome, Mr. Mark. It's nice from your side to give $100 off your consultation. Anyone looking for legal advice, Mr. Mark's the best choice, trust me. Aziz, thank you. And all of you guys that connect in and that are past alumni and past clients, it means the world to me that you would come in and post those comments. Okay, let's see. Jenny. Hey, Jenny. She says, would you recommend people who are in Ontario on a work permit with 500 or less points to stay in Ontario? How to increase my score? Thanks. So Jenny, this is one of the things that we're just going to wait and see. Okay. So at this stage, we will have to see what Minister Fraser, our good friend right here, what Minister Fraser has to say to the government, to Parliament on September the 20th, which is basically Tuesday. So today's the 18th, 19th is Monday. Tuesday is the 20th. And I'm pretty sure that was the date, I think, that some of the other MPs and the shadow minister for the Conservative Party and some of the other people had been reportedly indicating that they expected Minister Fraser here. I guess it's here, Minister Fraser here. It's always hard. Yes, Minister Fraser right here. So he is supposed to be releasing more details. And Jenny, when we know what that looks like, it may be that you are, that a program has been created that gives you more points where you don't have to compete with people that are not in Canada. And that's really what it comes down to. And I'll share a little insight. And a lot of people are just simply not talking about this because they just don't know the history. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now. And the reality is the Canadian Experience class was originally created for this exact reason, to help people with Canadian work experience to have a separate pathway so they weren't competing with the federal skilled workers. When Express Entry was launched, and I was on working groups with the Canadian Bar Association when it was even an idea back in 2014. Well, when it was launched, or I should say before Express Entry was launched, people could apply through the Canadian Experience class and only be, they didn't have to worry about being lumped in with everybody else and having to rank. It was basically, if you submitted an application, it was going to get processed. And CEC was designed to benefit people in Canada, but then Express Entry altered things and it changed it and made it so that outside, federal skilled workers were being pitted head to head with CECs with the no program specified draw. So the minister can always, Jenny, just choose a CEC. He has the capacity to do that. And he has in the past, but we don't know at this stage what that would look like. So if he only did a CEC, where would the scores be? Now, I suspect it would still be pretty high because a lot of the people have at least 2 years of Canadian work experience. But in your case, sitting around 500, hang tight, my friend. Just hang tight a little bit. Let's see what happens. Watch the channel. I will be going live absolutely on Tuesday. Actually, that reminds me. I wonder what I have all queued up on Tuesday. I wonder. Let's see how many things I have. Well, I've got someone booked a consult with me. Oh, dang it. Dang it. I always do this. So someone booked a consult with me Tuesday morning. And then I have a doctor's appointment right at 8:30 right after that. So I didn't anticipate that. Oh, okay. And then I have a webinar prep, and then I have a review with a client. And then I have let's see, I've got a bunch of stuff. Oh, no, well, noon. Yeah, I've got time for a break. Then I do an immigration talk for one of the consultant software companies. And then I have a review of a client till 3:30 of her Express Entry application. And then I have a half-hour break to check some emails. And then I have my DIY at 4 p.m. Oh my goodness. Well, hopefully if the minister says something, he'll know by noon, because I only have noon from which is 2 p.m. Eastern time to do any kind of video that I want to do. And then other than that, it would be after, it would be after, I guess at 5 o'clock that I would be able to do another video to talk about it. So whatever. That's how I roll, you guys. We'll see how it all plays out. Boy, busy. Okay. So there you go, Jenny. Okay. Harry says, is working on a NOC be after the completion of studies in Canada, but on a study visa considered for Express Entry? No, if you are working and it's a study visa. Now remember, if you complete your studies, you need to apply for a postgrad work permit. So once your studies are completed, there's a period of time when you receive confirmation of graduation where you can work, part-time until you receive that confirmation of graduation. But once you receive it, then you have to stop working. And then the date that you submit your postgrad work permit is the date that you can then start to work, the date that you file it. I've talked about this a lot. The lawyers in our firm, if you go to resources right here, it changes as you adjust the size of the screen. So if you scroll down here, you can see if you go to resources and then you can click on a blog post right here, and then I'll just enlarge this here. You'll see that we have a search feature. Oh, I bumped that. Get over there. Okay, so let's go back into here. So resources blog. So here we have a search feature. And if we click right here, I'm going to put here student. Let's see what comes up. Alicia did an awesome blog that will help you. And let's see, 10 reasons. When do you need to apply for a study permit to get it in time? Can students be working after the end of studies in Canada? It's this one right here. This is a great blog that was written by Alicia back April of this year. And I strongly encourage you to go check that one out. Actually, I'm going to copy that and I'm going to stick it right in. I think I can. I think I can. Let's see. Oh, I thought I could. I guess I can't. I thought I might be able to post that in there, but looks like I can't. Anyways, you guys can find it. It's on the firm website. Okay. All right, there you go. Another little help there, Harry. Okay, now to figure out where I left off. We've got a bunch of people connecting in here. Let's see. Okay, we're just about down. So Sahith says, I'm from India, got a police clearance certificate 35 days back from India recently, moved to Canada on an open work permit, got PR invitation last week. Should I apply police clearance certificate again? Okay, so this is what I don't know, Sahith. Well, I'll tell you right now, the one thing that I want you to do is to actually subscribe. Come and join me and we can go through everything with you and you will see that course will help you. Oh, I keep harping on it, but my goodness, I wish that I don't know if I have any people that have taken the course because you guys, you've got all this free stuff that's online that you just feel, oh, I don't need anything. I can get answers to all the questions I have online or through these WhatsApp groups. And it's just so hard, but hey, I get self-serving when I say, hey, you should take the course because I charge for it, right? Anyways, okay, so back to Sahith. Sahith, you said you got it from India 35 days ago, back from India recently. And you said you recently moved to Canada on an open work permit. If the police clearance certificate was issued before you left, then you need to get a new one. Well, let me take a step back. If you said it was 35 days back, it's okay. It's within 6 months. So as long as you submit your EAPR before that police clearance certificate is 6 months old, then you're okay. Yeah. So there's, I think, is the answer for you. Okay. Gopal, hello. Good to see you. Spider-Man. Hey, Mark. Spidey saying hi from Montreal. Spider-Man, I got a bone to pick with you. When I did my video the other day, which was the one on the TR to PR pathway, you described it as clickbait, which it is definitely not clickbait. I struggle hard enough as it is to get people to tune into these lives and to watch and to participate. And if people are seeing comments that you make saying that it's clickbait, well, yes, the title is designed to attract attention because people won't even watch the stuff. There's so much content out there unless it's something that interests them. And so the title, and I'm going to show you guys this, those of you who are actually watching on the YouTube channel, I'm just going to pull it up here and just show you. There is a ton of time that I took on this to help you guys understand it. And it's this one here, the new TR to PR pathway. It's got 5,000 views right now, but there's a reason. I went through in depth explaining all aspects of this whole bill, this motion 22, how it works. And I haven't seen anyone take the time to actually explain it the way I did so that people could understand that this is something that is supported by all members of parliament, the whole government. All of the politicians are behind this solution to workers in Canada not having pathways to permanent residence. So I know it was just tongue in cheek. I know it was Mr. Spider-Man, but oh, it's hard. It's hard, but good to see you. Thanks for connecting in. Okay. Okay. This is another great question. I will give you an applause as well, Leo. It says, I'm working on a postgrad work permit. Am I eligible to get any CRS points for an offer of employment? So the short answer is no, you are not eligible. And if we go back here to the actual course, and this is what you will see when you log in, this is the actual course. I have a lesson specifically focused on offers of employment that has sample job offers, has LMIAs for people that qualify through that route, and detailed explanations as to why open work permits don't work. Okay. And you can see right in here, I've built in this explanation right here, explaining the ins and outs of job offers. But to make it short, Leo, and just like the other folks, I encourage you to subscribe to the course and join me. And I'll give you a big, massive shout out tomorrow when I go live. But the reality is the rules around offers of employment for express entry only encompass 3 scenarios. So scenario 1 is when you have an employer who gets what I call a permanent LMIA. So a labor market impact assessment to support someone who is going to be immigrating to Canada. So the employer has to go through the process of advertising, showing that there's no Canadian or permanent resident to fill the position. And if they meet the other technical requirements of the application, they will get a labor market impact assessment that you can use to get those extra 50 or 200 points, depending upon the skill level of your position for that job offer. The first one is where you aren't even coming to Canada until you become a PR, but you can use that offer, which basically tells IRCC, I've got a job waiting for me, so I'll have no problem settling in Canada. And the job I'm going to be filling is in an area of critical skill shortage. That's what an LMIA is. So that's option 1. Option 2 is when the employer applies for a dual purpose LMIA, which is used to get you a work permit, get you here faster working. And at the same time, you can use that for the purposes of getting those extra points. But as soon as you got the LMIA issued, you can get the points. The third option is where it's not an LMIA based, but it's still an employer specific work permit, not an open one. So employer specific work permits are ones that are associated with Canada's international treaties or some of the competitiveness work permits like the intercompany transfer, which I'm going to be doing a webinar on that. And actually, this would be a good time to give you guys a little shout out. Let's see if I can even pull it up. I'm trying to remember exactly what it is, but it's Journey Business Plans. It's their webinar, intra-company transfer webinar Holthe. Let's see if I can Google it. Actually, that's not the one. Let me see if I can find this. I don't even know if it is. Oh, here we go. Nope, that's the old one. I can't remember where it is. I cannot remember where it is. Anyways, yes, maybe they have it on their upcoming things or something here. But blog, I wonder if it's here. Do they have webinars, testimonials, samples? I don't know. Anyways, so I will be doing a webinar. Maybe some of you know where the link is for Journey on intercompany transfer work permits. But basically, it's a work permit where your employer in Canada is named on your work permit. And then in that case, you have to work for a year for them before you can claim those points for job offers. So I know there's a lot here, but there really is. Like express entry is so loaded with these little nuances. And the course was created specifically through all of the experiences I had dealing with people who were trying to file on their own and ran into roadblocks because things weren't clear. And it's not clear what a job offer is. It's not, Leo. And so individuals who are going through that process, you have to really dig to try to find it. What do we have here? we have George. It is so good to see you. I was just mentioning that I'd love to have someone on here who had taken the course and gone through the process and have become a permanent resident after joining me in the express entry course right here. So George is an alumni, and I don't know if George, if I still have your testimonial in here. I can't remember. We made some changes and we haven't, I don't think we've got all those testimonials on there like we used to. I'm gonna have to put that back. But yeah, George, it was awesome to have you. Okay, let's see what your question is, my friend. So George says about Canadian citizenship. Okay, eligibility. If a permanent resident is getting paid by a Canadian employer, paying taxes, but residing outside Canada, can they count that time towards Canadian citizenship? So after you become a permanent resident, George, there are some provisions that allow for an individual to maintain their permanent resident status if they have been assigned by a Canadian company and they're on Canadian payroll to work outside Canada. Okay. So in those instances, you can count that towards the 2 years and every 5 years to maintain your permanent residence. But George, for citizenship, doesn't work that way at all. You have to be in Canada, physically present. Now, the one advantage, I guess the one caveat I can give you is that, every part day spent in Canada is considered a full day. And for citizenship, every day that you've spent in Canada as a temporary resident, worker, student, is considered a half day. So up to 2 years. So which would equate to 1 year, which is 1 year towards the 3 years of residence in Canada to apply for citizenship. So George, I'd be delighted to help you with that, answer any questions and guide you through that process. I actually got an email from a client that this is the fun part. After 3-4 years, people reach out to you when they need their citizenship. So that reminds me, I've got to respond to them. They sent me an email and so that's awesome. Okay, let's keep zipping through here. Let's see. I don't want to skip anyone. We've got a good group of people that have tuned in here. It looks like YouTube is dominating this. I'm looking to see. Oh, here we go. Okay, we do have someone who is watching on the Canadian Immigration Institute Facebook page. When it says actually Express Entry Law, when it says Facebook user, that's usually Express Entry Law. Let's just see what else we have here. This is hilarious. Oh, I just lost my Simba cam here. I knocked it over. I'm sorry. This is so funny. Oh my goodness. I wish this person says, you mean you do not get support from government? I wish I had like a laugh. Do I have some kind of a laughing sound? No, I don't. I wish I did, but I don't. So I guess I've got this one here. No. When I worked as an officer for immigration, yes, I did get paid for that. But no, I wish I got support. I wish I did. Mansoor says, if I get the master class, is there any expiry date? No, there isn't. You have access to the material for life. And even the live streams that we do, sometimes people don't have, like we have a private group where you can leave your questions. Even if the timing of the lives isn't perfect, they can always post their questions in the private group. And then within that group, I go in every live stream and pull the questions right out of the live group. And you can post, videos, screenshots. You can send me pictures, whatever. Everything is open season when in that course. And I go out of my way to make sure every single person that subscribes to it does not in any way, shape, or form walk away not having a question answered or knowing exactly what they need to do. Okay. All right. Let's see if we've got anything else here. We've got a bunch of stuff connecting in. Let's see here. Okay. I think we've got most things. Yes, Jenny, you're very, very welcome there. Okay, let's jump back up to the top and I'm going to find where I left off and we're going to keep trucking our way down here. Okay. Okay, Jay says, I work in a NOC 4212. Do I need a college or university degree to claim the experience? Once again, another topic. So I had someone post in LinkedIn that IRCC, when they were applying through the Federal Skilled Worker Program and trying to claim their foreign work experience, that they had asked or questioned their work experience because the person did not have the degree or diploma that the occupation requirements listed in the NOC. They didn't have that, and so at least the letter that I saw was suggesting, at least from that immigration officer, that was something that they can look at. But that is not the case. For foreign work experience, the job requirements are they don't apply. And it's baked right into the legislation that they're not supposed to look at those. Okay, let's take a look because I think everybody would benefit from this. So I'm going to go back to the NOC 2016. Remember, not till November is it going to roll over, you guys, for tier. And there's lots of stuff on our website to help with this. So let's pull up 4212. I'm going to share my screen here, and let's go in here and let's pull up 4212. And let's see here, 4212. Okay, so social and community service workers. I think that's the one that, that Jay had, 4212. Yes. Okay. So let's open it up and let's take a look and see. So remember to qualify, and Alicia and I just did another video on this topic. If we go back here, let's see, job title. And then I know Alicia did another one on the tier system. Oh, where was it? I can't remember. But we did one where we specifically talked about the education requirements. I can't remember if it was Alicia and I or if I did it myself. Oh, here, I did it myself. Okay. Oh my goodness. This is the video that I did just 9 days ago on this topic. I knew it was fresh. I knew it was. Okay, let's go back to the drawing board. So you need to show that you've performed all the activities in the lead statement. That's this. Then we scroll down here. You have to have performed a substantial number of these main duties. Okay. But anything that is let's see if we got here, anything that's a may, right here, these ones, may maintain program and may supervise, those are optional. Those are non-essential. So you don't need to factor those in, but you need about 75% of these. And then the question, this one right here, about the college degree to claim the experience. Let's take a look and see if you were to apply for a work permit to come to Canada under the labor market impact assessment process, then this would be an issue. So employment requirements, completion of okay, here's the perfect. I love this. I love being able to teach. Thank you so much, my friend, for actually asking this question. So completion of a college or university program in social work, child and youth, psych, or other social sciences or health-related disciplines. Okay, so that's what that's what he's focusing on. This is what Jay's asking. Do I need a college or university degree to claim the experience? Okay. Well, there's two parts to this. Okay, so this suggests that it is needed if you're going to work in the occupation in Canada. Well, this is an element of it. But remember, none of this applies. None of this applies in the context of claiming foreign work experience regardless. But here is the kicker nonetheless. If it says is usually required, it's not mandatory for anything. Some employers might require it, and maybe even most. But unless it says is required, then it's not a mandatory component, even if even if it wasn't built into the legislation that this stuff doesn't apply. So previous work experience in a social service environment as a volunteer or in supportive capacity may replace formal education. So once again, this is a may, and then social workers may be required to be a member. Once again, optional. So there you go. I was able to dive a little bit deeper in there, but the course itself, yes, is chock full of every aspect of, literally every aspect of the whole process that you could ever want is all baked into all of these. There's over 57 individual lessons, and all of these modules here are all designed, including this mega one, which is all about the documents, and it covers every single document that you need, all of the ins and outs, what to avoid, how to make sure that IRCC is going to accept it. And my favorite part of this whole course, you guys, is this lesson right here, which is my fix all gravy on top of the potatoes. The secret sauce of an express entry, it's the letters of explanation. And in here, I actually provide sample letters of explanation for two things that I do, both documents. Sometimes I will have a document specific LOE and then an EAPR one that covers all the information. And so there's a reason why I do what I do. And it comes right back to IRCC and their own instructions to their own officers and why I do what I do. It's all right there. And you can see how important it is. Almost half an hour I spend talking about LOEs in and of themselves. So, like I said, you guys will come out of this knowing more than the vast majority of representatives out there. Okay, let's see. Keep going through here. Ibrahim over in Dubai. Great to see you. Thanks for connecting in. Okay, Maria says, well, I'm assuming this is maybe Maria's account here. I've applied for express entry on September the 30th and my score is 472. I have Canadian work experience. Is there a way to apply for PNP and go with no program specified? Okay, well, if you've applied, I don't know if that means you've submitted a profile. Maybe that's what you mean. And then in that case, I pursue every single option that's available to me. So If there's an option, I pursue it. If there's multiple PNPs, I pursue them all. Subject to, whether you live inside Canada or outside Canada, because there's always complexities, and I'll ring the bell. I recommend once again that you guys take advantage of the discount that I have for the consults, because ultimately for this, like I said, for this month, September, if you can get in and book fast, I have a certain amount of spots that are available, so that individuals can book at a drastically reduced rate of $100 in your pocket versus mine, just to try to give a little bit of relief for you guys. So just for September only, it's $100 off of what my regular rates are, and $200 off for a 50-minute consult. Okay. All right. Let's keep zipping through here. Next up, let's see who's here. Okay. Malik says, I have 2 years of experience with 4 employers. Can that be an issue when applying under CEC? Not as long as they're all NOC B. You can build them all together as long as they're within the previous 3 years. You can absolutely include them all. But remember, you can't claim more than 30 hours per week, even if you're working 2 occupations at the same time. All right. Okay. Leo says, I did 2 NOC code Bs in Canada for 1 year. Am I able to combine those? Yes, for CEC, you can. Raul says, appreciate your efforts. I'm in NOC 0 and trying to get an LMIA and NOC D. Only 3 months left on work permit. Does that give me the extra 50 points? No, don't ever waste time with that. No, I understand what you're doing. You're trying to stay in Canada, and that's fine. And maybe the minister will make an announcement that will allow that to work. We don't know. But generally speaking, right now, the way the world is, NOC D, LMIA won't help you at all for the purposes of express entry. Now, depending on the province you're in, maybe there's a PNP pathway, and any person on an LMIA-based work permit in a province will have, some possibilities. So yeah, once again, ring that bell. If you need any help, Raul, just let me know. Okay. The bottom says, hey, Mark, I wanted to know if there's any minimum CLB, CELPIP score for Canadian PR express entry required for accompanying spouse of a primary applicant under NOC A. No, there's no minimum that's required, but points will be assigned to that spouse, 20 points. And if they do not take the test or do poorly, you can lose 20 of your points if your spouse's language is not good. Once again, covered in depth in the course. Okay, Lucy says, hey, Mark, my husband got PNP nomination recently. He is dependent to my study permit as an open work permit holder. If I lodge his express entry profile, can he apply for a bridging work permit while we wait for ITA? No, so he can't. Okay, let me get this all straightened around here. So got a PNP nomination recently. So then the question is, did you get an R204C letter, which is the letter that the provinces often will issue that allow you to apply for a work permit? Okay, so that's the first question. He's dependent to my study permit as an open work permit holder. Okay, so that's what, C42. If I lodge his express entry profile, can he apply for bridging work permit while we wait for ITA? He will only be eligible for a bridging open work permit if he gets the invitation to apply and you submit the EAPR. Just submitting the profile does not give him the ability to then apply for a bridging open work permit. It's only eligible when he files the EAPR. But that's why I asked about if he's got a PNP nomination, did he receive an R204C letter, which is a letter from the province telling IRCC to issue him a work permit because he's working in an important position. Once again, ring the bell, Lucy. Consider booking a consult. Okay. Here's a great question, Malik says. I did a short on this just recently, a YouTube short. I think it's on our website, actually. Can a person complete an online master's degree while being on a postgrad work permit from another country? Can that master's be used for education purposes under CEC, or will that be an issue? Malik, there are some new rules that have kicked in. And let me see if I can find, it's always interesting trying to search my own website. Okay, we should have playlists. And then on the playlist, I think we have some shorts here. Let's see, I just started pumping out some. Okay, so right here, so you can see Canadian studies outside Canada now counts for express entry. Okay, nice music there, great. Now probably it's gonna, probably because I played that. I imagine Facebook will now block this feed because I played that 2-second little music intro there. This is what I want to show right here. So this, you can't really see because it's kind of tiny. Let's see if I can blow it up here. So this is the YouTube channel. This is the one that I just did this short. So as of July 26th, express entry applicants that have claimed points for Canadian education credentials and completed any part of their program of study or training between, here's the kicker, March the 1st, 2022 and August the 31st, 2020, March the 1st, 2020 and August the 31st, 2022 are now eligible for Canadian education credential points, even if they completed the program entirely through distance learning outside Canada through part-time studies. But it's only between March 1st of 2020 and August 31st of 2022, which is actually a really, really cool development. It really is like a really cool development. So yeah, there we go. Questions and answers even before you ask them, I guess, right, Malik? Am I on tune with what's going on? All right. Okay, Ali says, I'm in CAC Express Entry Pool with 445 points. 4 years engineering degree from Saskatchewan, 1 year experience in NOC 0. A from Alberta, postgrad expires in January 2023. Please advise. Yeah, this is the sucky part, right? Because if you studied your 4-year program in Saskatchewan, you're not eligible for the Alberta Opportunity Stream. If you are working on your postgrad in Alberta, there's an outside shot. You could get an expression of interest through the Express Entry Stream, depending upon the work experience. So I don't know what you're doing like for your occupation, but once again, like we can sort through this. But when it comes to yes, okay, sir, CAC Express Entry Pool. We don't know how it's going to play out. We don't. 4 years, 1 year experience in NOC 0 from Alberta. Expires in January. Please advise. Yeah, you need to book a consult, my friend, and I can try to sort through it and give you advice. But yeah, the Alberta Opportunity Stream is not eligible because you didn't finish your school in Alberta. You didn't study in Alberta. Okay. Okay, let's keep zipping through here. Okay, Manzur, should I get my medical before my invitation, or is it good to get it after an ITA? It depends on how fast you can get that medical. Generally, I don't rush it too quick unless I know there are huge backlogs for medicals. And so you play a little bit of a dancing game there. Okay, Harinder says, any update on Motion 44? Well, that is the video that I just did, right? So if you guys want to get the latest information, I'll back up one more time here. Go to, I don't need that open. Oh, and it looks like we got this a little bit smaller than I intended. If you go to the YouTube channel right here, I really did shrink that down, didn't I? And you go to our playlists here, you will see that I did a video right here called the New TR to PR Pathway 2022. And I talk at length about how Motion 44 works, what we can expect. And I even provide the schedule of Parliament so you can see what the holdup is and why we're not getting more information. Okay, let's see here. All right, keep going here. Okay, Leah, you're very, very welcome. Thank you for helping out, she says. Let's see here. What's next? Okay, Shale says, what's the difference between M44 and CEC? Well, M44 is just a motion, a private member's bill that asks Minister Fraser right here to create a better program or pathway for foreign workers in Canada to transition to permanent residence. That's what M44 is. The Canadian Experience class is just the actual program that's in existence right now. So whatever flows from M44, excuse me, is, well, we don't know exactly what's going to flow from it, but this guy right here, Minister Sean Fraser, is hopefully going to be sharing some insight with us. Okay. Okay, Leah says, do you think the next draw will be 503? Woo, that's a great question. I love it. Okay, let's take a look here at the rounds of invitations. I'll share when I'm searching so you guys can see how I pull it up. And if we go to the rounds of invitations here and we scroll down, we'll see that the last draw was September 14th, 4 days ago. There were 3,250 people that were drawn and the low score was 510. So Leah's asking here, what about 503? Let's take a look at who was in the pool. So over 3,000 were drawn, and in fact, 3,250. So we have 6,600 and about 6,600 and about 30 and change were theoretically in the pool, but guaranteed there were more that were added in between the 12th and the 14th, those 2 days when the draw happened. So the question is, of those people, 501 and higher, if they do another draw, will it come down to 503? Well, do you know what? My opinion is if they do another one that's 3,250, I think it will. I think it will. So great question. There's some applause for you, Leah. Thanks for connecting in. Anurag, that's what we're looking at, right? So if you watch the video, at motion 44, we should see what Minister Fraser here has to say about that on Tuesday. Okay, Aziz says, got my PCC when I quit Dubai and Morocco in 2018. Since that time, I did not travel out of Canada. Would my PCC still valid and would be accepted by RCC? Thank you. 2018 is a while ago, but if you got it after you left, Aziz, after, technically it's still valid because you haven't gone back. So there's no reason for them to do anything new or any new search. But if you obtained it before you left, then yeah, you need to get a new one. Okay. Okay. Jenny has a follow-up here. I asked for a police certificate for my country 3 months ago. And last month I traveled to visit my family for a week and returned to Canada. Do I need to ask for a new certificate? Thank you. Jenny, I've talked at length with immigration officers about this, the head officials, and I just don't take any chances. I've seen people who went back for a week get their application rejected. And notwithstanding the reasonableness that the head official said their officers would apply when they were assessing applications. So in your case, Jenny, I would absolutely get a new one. I would. Even if it's, well, okay, let me take a step back. So you got it from your country 3 months ago, okay? So anything that's within 6 months, if you can submit your application before 6 months is up and you submit your EAPR, then it's locked in. And that's also one of the shorts. I did a video on expiring documents. But the simple statement is if you have the ability to file an EAPR and submit it before that police clearance is 6 months old, then you're going to be fine with using it. But if it is beyond that, then you're going to need a new one, okay? Because you return back there. Okay, is 459 possible? We'll see what this fellow right here has to say. We will see. Okay. Yeah, Seema says, hey, sir, how are you? There are so many different data analyst jobs. How will I make sure that I'm choosing the right NOC code? Guess how? Right here. This is how. Subscribe to the course, because in the course, and I'll share my screen with you again, in the course right here, these are letters of explanation. Actually, this is, I want to go back here to mastering your documents section. And this is the actual course. This is what it looks like. If you go to records of employment, you'll see here on the right, I go at length. There's 23 minutes long with employment records. And in here, I have my NOC selection tool. And this is a tool that's used to create a letter of explanation that goes with your reference letter to help an officer understand how the duties that you perform match the NOC and to eliminate any confusion. So I highly recommend that you subscribe to this. There's a link, you guys. It's in the description, and register because I'm going live tomorrow at 4 p.m. And well, this says 21 hours, but in reality, the cart's going to close before I go live. So it's probably more like 20 hours now. And you want to get in there so you can start looking at stuff so that you have those questions that you can ask. A lot of them are already contained in the actual, in the videos themselves. Okay, let's see what's next. And remember, we're just focusing, guys. This is our topic for today. Your toughest questions about express entry. So this is the EE Live Q&A. Some of you may remember that. Okay, let's see what else here. Okay, Shale says, when do you think it will drop to 45 level? It'll be a while if it does. And remember, the challenge is so many people that have work experience in Canada that's driving it up, others that have French language ability that's driving it up, and this massive backlog of people that are still filtering through because CEC has not had a draw since September of last year. We're like a year ago was the last time we had a CEC only draw. Okay. Oh, Evo. love it when I have alumni and when I have past clients that connect in. Hi, Mark. Just wanted to share. I finally got my invitation to apply. I know, you guys. I know what that means to you. And to know that I've had some tiny little part in that journey to get to that stage. Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. And I'll let you guys in on something. All right. I'll let you guys in on something. And that simple thing is that I've had a lot of lawyers that have wanted to join my firm. And there is a very, very distinct reason why I chose Alicia, because she's freaking awesome. She's way smarter than I am and a phenomenal lawyer. If I scroll down here, same thing for Chanel, a bright young lawyer who cares deeply about her clients and has in a very short period of time developed an amazing expertise that complements the fact she went through express entry herself, not that many years ago. So she knows what it's like from the ground. And then Cedric, each of them have been strategically chosen to join the firm because of what they bring to the table. Cedric worked as a lawyer for the government. He has very, very unique skill sets is the best way I can describe it. A unique set of skills when it comes with dealing with problem applications, and not just problem, the litigation side, reconsiderations, leave applications for judicial review. So each one of these lawyers was strategically chosen to complement what I offer and to form our team. And there is a lot of lawyers and consultants that have reached out and have wanted to join the firm, but they weren't the right fit, because I don't have anyone join the firm that doesn't care. That's all about the money, that just wants to pump people through and doesn't care about you. That's what Holthe Immigration Law is. So yeah, Ivo, it's just, absolutely awesome to have you. Thank you so much for saying hello. And yeah, I look forward to helping you with the rest of your journey. I really do. Okay, Bobakar, hello, dear. Well, good to see you. Okay. And remember, express entry is what we're focusing on. Okay. Let's see here. I'm not sure if this is 22 international grad, maybe. I'm not sure what IG stands for, or 221G. Don't know what that is. Okay. Jenny says, thank you and good luck to everyone expecting good news from the immigration minister. Well, I think we're all expecting good news from this fine fellow here. Okay. Let's see. And I know some people are asking the same questions over and over. This is really focused on express entry. Remember, next Wednesday and Thursday, we'll have our regular Canada Immigration Live Q&A. Shale, like as far as updates on medical waivers, you just have to monitor it. I don't err on the side of being risk tolerant. I will go and get the medical. Okay. If there's even a remote chance that I might need one. I just don't want to be stuck in a situation where I'm delayed, or there's this new program is announced and everybody's rushing to get immigration medicals and they can't get them. I've lived through that world. So always be prepared, over prepared. Okay. Okay. Lovepreet says, hey, Mark, I have an employment 1 year at least with a Canadian employer, but without an LMIA. Do I still need to show my proof of funds and express entry, or am I exempt? In which cases am I exempt? So Lovepreet, just like I've explained with all of you guys right in here, just like I just finished going through it, lesson 44 is all about job offers. So if I jump back to my mastering documents, and then I go to 44, it's all about offers of employment. And just like I went into detail and explained, Lovepreet, in your case, so the reason I explain job offers is because if you have a job offer, like I explained, then you do not need proof of funds. But there's another situation. If you have, and this is an offer of employment that is recognized through the express entry process. So the ministerial instructions as they define job offers. When it comes to proof of funds, the other place where you don't need proof of funds is if you're drawn under the Canadian Experience class. So it doesn't matter what your work is. If you've drawn under the Canadian Experience class, that alone exempts you from needing proof of funds. Once again, covered in the course. And guess where? In the proof of funds lesson. Okay, let's see what else. Okay. Kalapi says, hey, Mark, we finally landed as permanent residents in mid-August. Another applause. I love being able to do this. Thanks so much for all your excellent help. I'll be sending you a heartfelt testimonial shortly. Thank you, my friend. I really, really appreciate that. Those kinds of things really mean a lot because, hey, those people who are watching this live are probably thinking, well, boy, I don't know if, what this guy is saying is really worth it. Why would I pay for, to register for a course when I have all this free information online, right? That's what people say. Okay, let's keep zipping through here. And I'm going to try to get the, I don't know what the codes are here, you guys. I don't know what these are. Okay. Sahith says, in my 1-year CEC experience, if I spend 1 month in India and worked remotely and got pay stubs, pay taxes, should I consider that month also to count 1 year experience, or should wait for 1 more month? Wait for 1 more month. Don't take any chances. Maybe they will allow people, just like studying abroad. Maybe they'll make a policy shift and say it's not an issue. But, some people who are paid, it's entirely possible that an officer could accept that. But I just don't take chances. If it means waiting just 1 more month, then I do it. Okay. Look at this here. Let's see how this Simba cam is going here. Oh, I got the wrong one here. This is what I wanted here. There's the little muncher. Look at him. Hey, Simba. Are you still sleeping, buddy? Are you sleeping, Simba? Oh, there you are. There he is. That's the Simba cam. All right, let's get this sorted out here. Yes, he's just having a good old sleep there. Good old sleep. Okay, moving on. All right. Okay, next here. Okay, Alva says, hey, good evening, Mark. I read some Canadian provinces ain't going to work due to Queen's funeral. That's the case. That is the case. Stephen says, when is a good time to apply owner-operator LMIA for a new startup company? Is it okay after half year operating? So this is the challenge, okay? So owner-operators in the traditional sense no longer exist. So the LMIA process is really just a regular LMIA. And most companies, even if they're starting up, you need to have operated for at least 1 year. So that's how we deal with that one. But Stephen, it's not an easy process. It's not anymore, not like it used to be. And why? Because far too many representatives, consultants, and some lawyers abused it. And so they pulled it because there was so much fraud. Okay, LJH says, hey, Mark, do you think this time Motion 44 will require people to be currently employed? I have 2 years experience, but my last contract just ended. Well, if you look at Canadian experience class, you don't have to be currently employed. So it's possible. It's possible that they could carve that out. Okay, let's see here next. And we're just about ready to wrap this up, you guys. Okay, Manzoor says, okay, International Mobility Program question. Okay, Bachelor's of Business Administration, LLB, integrated 5 years back in my country. Wes gave me a dual degree, 4-year certificate. Can I claim both degrees separately, or I have to claim as one that will say 4? Okay, well, I'd need to actually look at your Wes assessment to really determine that. Did they give you credit for your LLB? Did they say it was a professional? If that's the case, then the LLB will allow you to have a professional credential that's equivalent to a master's, and that will give you more points. If they've broken down those two into 2, separate entities within Wes, like 2 separate credentials, then you're going to be able to use them for 2 or more degrees. But I need to really look at that a little bit more closely. Okay, Maria says, yes, submitted my profile. Okay, great. Okay, let's see. And remember this one, just to clarify for everybody, if you're tuning in late, this is my Express Entry Live Q&A. So all the questions are going to be focused on Express Entry today. Okay, so the way you do it is actually through our consultation process. So this is where you can go. you can click on the link to book a consult, or you can follow this link right here. You can just type that into your browser, www.holthelaw.com/consultation for immigration consults. All right. So that is how you can connect with me. Okay. Let's see. So, Diraj says, are cooks in Ontario eligible for PR after working full-time in Ontario, Canada? It just depends. It depends. Because remember, there are employers that are associated with it. There are different types of work permits that have different rules. So yes. Okay. And remember, anything that's not related to, and anything that is not related to express entry, that's why I'm bypassing those questions. Okay. Malik says, thank you for answering for online master's degree. However, my question was for online master's from another country. I have an option to finish up a master's in the UK, and I'm currently on postgrad work permit. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. If you're just claiming that for points, it comes down to what the WES assessment says. Lots of people have done online programs that were equated to a Canadian master's equivalent. I saw that happen lots, so it's not unheard of. Thanks for clarifying. So Mohammed says, do you think the express entry system will change in 2023 so that they will just select people from certain occupations? I don't think they're just going to do that. I think it's going to be a mixed bag. They're going to have lots of tools in the toolbox. That's what Minister Fraser's going to have. Lots of tools in the toolbox. Okay. All right. Diraj says, what are the chances of getting an invitation for CRS 470? Depends on what this fellow does, right? Depends on what Minister Fraser does. He has lots of ability to do a lot of different things, and now he's got tools to do what is in the best interest of what he feels Canada and the marching orders that he has. Okay. Okay. Sarav says, hey, Mark, do you have anything for PEI express entry on course related to it? So the PEI process, when it comes to the provinces, I don't have individual courses for that, but it doesn't matter what provincial nominee program you go through. The course will help you to do the thing that is really the toughest, which is express entry. And so the course will walk you through the whole process. And there's even a section on PNPs, but it doesn't specifically address each of the programs in all the provinces. Okay, Leah, you're very welcome. Rocky says, what needs to make sure while recreating express entry profile after expired? Pretty simple, that everything is consistent, that what you put into that first profile is consistent with what you put into the second one. You don't want to have any issues or potential misrep. Shivam says, is there any possibility of a CEC draw this year? I think it's unlikely. I really do, especially given the fact the minister has granted those big 18-month work permit extensions. I think it's actually quite unlikely that he would be doing a CEC draw. But hey, did I believe that he was going to draw 176? 27,332 invitations, I believe it was, on February the 13th. Crazy, crazy stuff. Okay. Okay. Leo says, I have 2 years of work experience in the NOC B category job in India. I have the employment reference letters, but I don't have the pay slips. So what documents can I submit instead of pay slips? Were you paid in cash? Were you paid through the bank? One possibility is a bank statement showing that those deposits have been made in your bank. In the course, Leo, I have a ton of other suggestions on how to prove all of those essential components to the reference letters. Okay. Lovepreet, thanks for the update. Doubt resolved. You're very, very welcome. Okay. Zahir says, I'm confused on which province to select for express entry. I do not intend to stay at a specific province, by the way. Doesn't matter. As long as it's not Quebec, you can put whatever you want. Whatever you want. Jenny, you're very, very welcome. Om says, can I apply CEC without WES? Nope, you can't. You can use one of the other educational credential assessment agencies. It doesn't have to be WES. And technically speaking, you can get into the pool without having an educational credential. We knew that because the lowest round was 75, but it's going to be really tough unless you have some education. Okay. All right. So Karen says, I received ITA last draw. That's some applause. And Karen, I strongly encourage you to slide over and subscribe to the course right here. We're starting tomorrow, and you will be well positioned to go through and get all of the help and assistance that you need. Let's see what your question is. Back to the question here from Karen. Karen says, living in Canada, excuse me, since the last 4 years, okay, study and then post-grad, do I need to take medical exam or can be exempted? Okay. I always, if you haven't had one in the last 4 years, I will just go ahead and do it anyways, Karen. I don't know if when you originally applied for your study permit, if you needed to have a medical at that time. People that have never had them, then absolutely, you're going to have to do it. If it's been like over 4 years, it's possible that immigration could waive it, Karen, but I just don't take chances. I literally will go ahead and I'll get it and I'll submit it. And ultimately there are some instructions on the website that suggest maybe you don't need to do it if you're in Canada, but I just don't trust it. So I just advise people to just get it, especially when it's been over 4 years like you, if that's the case. Okay. So here it says, how often do you do live sessions? Well, this is kind of a spontaneous one. But normally my live sessions are done every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. And then Alicia and we also do another one on Thursday mornings at 11 a.m. and that's Mountain Time. And then Cedric sometimes will do his own lives at crazy hours, like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. in the morning. So you just have to stay tuned. All right. But subscribe to the channel and then you'll get notified. Let's see here. Okay, Malik says, does work done during implied status while waiting to get a postgrad count as work experience? The moment you file that postgrad work permit application, you can start counting that work experience. Okay, Manzoor, you're very, very welcome. Says, thank you for your time. Okay, Rupinder says, how can I check my reference letter for my India experience? I've used my experience and NOC code, but just confused. Rupinder, this is something that people, they book consults and we work through it because it can get really complicated. But I also recommend that you slide over here and you can see right here, the offer of employment. I've been bouncing back and forth. Module 6, Module 43 right here is the bomb. This one in the course, Records of Employment, I go into depth, in detail. I spent over 23 minutes talking about NOC selections, and I have a tool that I've created as well as detailed instructions on how to do it and how to present it to an officer in a way that you can increase the chances that they're going to agree with you. So click on the link below, subscribe, and join me tomorrow, Rupinder. Okay. Digsy Fit says, I'm working under postgrad. I recently submitted for express entry and realized that I score 0 for arranged employment, even when I have a job in Canada. Can you explain why? Okay, so we've just explained that. We've just talked about it. You can't claim it on an open work permit. Simple as that. Just because you're working and you have an offer from your employer, express entry does not recognize open work permits for the purposes of offers of employment. And that is exactly what I have in the same module as I bounce back and forth. Module 4, lesson 44, I talk about this exact thing, what constitutes an offer of employment and why open work permits right here don't work. Okay. So I recommend as well that you click on the link and join me tomorrow. I'd love to see you guys there. Okay. And we'll finish off with Harry. Facebook. Awesome. So this is the Canadian Immigration Institute Facebook page. Is there any reason for not updating ADR? It has been 5 months. My ADR status just shows documents uploaded. Oh, Harry, did you click submit? Okay. So this is something that I see a lot of. When you are uploading your documents, and I have a course, guys, I have a lesson on just about everything. If I go back to the categories here, I will show you, starting right here, completing the EAPR, right here, understanding the document checklist. I think it's in here maybe. Okay, how to properly respond to IRCC requests for additional information. And in this lesson, I show you that you absolutely need to take the next step. And then maybe you've already done this, Harry, but when you submit it, you need to make sure that you don't just upload, but that you actually resubmit your entire application again. And you click that button. Hopefully, Harry, you did that. But as far as why things haven't moved forward, it's one of these. Book a consult. You know, as I've shown you guys, I have dropped the rates for our consults. So for the rest of September, I am giving $100 off the price of consults right now. So you can take advantage of that. And some people are wondering, Mark, why do you keep showing this? It's because people like Harry probably just joined late. Okay. Tejas says, what is the best way to use 1 year of Canadian experience working in Quebec on an IMP C20 work permit? That is a Quebec-based immigration question. And I recommend 100% that you reach out to an immigration lawyer in Quebec who can provide assistance on the pathways forward in Quebec. Now, with that being said, sometimes people will get a transfer within Canada from that company that they're working for so that they're moved to Ontario so that you are eligible for express entry. Because when it comes to express entry, if you have 1 year under that C20 work permit, which is the reciprocal work permit, you do get those extra 50 points. Now, it's possible you could have been a senior executive, a 00, and you'd get 200, but that's what I recommend. All right. And Zahir has subscribed. Congratulations, Zahir. I look forward to having you join me. And remember, when you go in, remember to join the community group and you can start posting questions right now, Zahir. And I'll make sure that if for whatever reason you can't make the live tomorrow at 4, that you will be able to, and that's Mountain Time, that you'll have all your questions in there and I will answer everything. And I promise you, my friend, you will come out of that course. You will know more about express entry than anybody out there. And you will not have a single question or doubt left unanswered by the time we finish those 4 1-hour sessions this week. So thank you, my friend. All right, let's see who is next. And the rest of you, if you haven't subscribed, join Zahir. It's going to be awesome. We've got a phenomenal group of people. Okay. DF Andrew, we'll go with that, says, if I apply as a federal skilled worker, primary school teacher, and also apply for PNP, will they call me as a school teacher if I have 1,100 points? Okay, so we're kind of conflating these a little bit, Andrew. Ultimately, federal skilled worker, I'm not quite sure if you have how you have 1,100 points. So you've got a PNP. You also applied for a PNP. So yeah, if you get a nomination through the province, you're going to get 600 points. And then if you have good human capital, it's possible to hit that 1,100 point range. That's pretty high, but it is possible to do it. Yeah, if your work experience is as a teacher, that's fine. It's a skilled position. So I don't see unless there's something I'm missing, Andrew. So great question. Okay, let's see here. Japnik says, hey, Mark, I am pursuing a post-grad diploma in Canada and have done bachelor's of tech in India. Do I need West for my bachelor's in my express entry FSWP Outland? Well, it comes down to what the graduate diploma. Is it a master's degree? Often it isn't. And so 100% you would want to get your bachelor's assessed in India, and then you'd get at least 2 or more credentials. Graduate diploma isn't necessarily a master's degree. Sometimes depends on, it really, it comes down to what the exact program is. All right. Okay, you guys, I think we have hit the end of the road. So always, one thing I want to advise you guys is to subscribe to the channel. All right. So if you haven't done that, do so, and then you'll get notified when I do crazy, spontaneous lives like this. Also, just a couple other reminders. Remember, the DIY class starts tomorrow. The cart is closing in, I guess, 20 hours now? So get in there, get set up so that when the master class starts, you will have an opportunity to ask all those questions. Remember, when it comes to consultations, like I've said right here, there's the link. But you can also rest assured that you're getting a phenomenal discount, because I've never done this the entire time that I've had the firm. But the reason that I'm doing it, guys, is pretty simple. It's because I look at the inflation, like what has happened all over the world. And, ironically, I probably should be raising my rates, right? The cost of living, not decreasing. But I don't do this to get rich. I do this to help you guys. And the reality is, for my time, if I can teach 50 people at the same time, which our group is growing fast, if I can teach 50 people how to do their own express entry applications, then that is way more effective for my time than doing the traditional law practice. But I know that some people just need extra help, and they want the comfort and peace of mind of hiring a lawyer to help them. And so the whole reason that we have this, the consult and our collaborative review model, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but our approach is different. And if you go to our firm and review our collaborative approach, it's a comprehensive, full support of your express entry through your own portal. So you maintain control over it. Everything starts with the consult, but I recommend that you access those and use those. We have wonderful lawyers in the firm. And yeah, it's just we love helping you. And that's our purpose. All right. Okay. We still have people posting questions. I think we've got everything here. Let's see here. Okay. Manavjeet says, hey, do you have a link to calculate points for express entry for CEC class? You're doing a great job. Thanks from everyone. I appreciate that. In the course, I walk you through the whole process, Manavjeet. But when you're calculating points, the government, you don't need to go to someone's tool. All you have to type is CRS tool, and it will pull up the comprehensive ranking system tool. And then all you need to do is go through here and click on the links and just fill in your information, and it will spit out your score. Simple as that. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Max says, hey, Mark, do you know how long it will take IRCC to issue confirmations of applications received after submitting an application for express entry? That is virtually instantaneous, Max. When you file it, your EAPR, you can actually use that response that comes back to file your bridge. That's the one good thing about express entry. You don't have to wait like you do for the PR portal through that other route for an acknowledgement of receipt. So that's the one benefit to express entry. Okay. And then Bernice says, thanks a lot for trying to answer all questions, even though you couldn't answer my question because it wasn't related to your topic today. Okay, Bernice. Okay. Let's, okay, let's try to see if we can answer Bernice's question here. I've got a soft heart. Please, what's meant by date modified? September 6, 2022. After submitting my work permit visa application about 8 months ago. Date modified. I don't know what that means. I'll be honest, Bernice, I don't. I recommend you book a consult so that I can actually see, but I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. Where you see that, if it's in your portal or yeah, it's, I would need a little bit more information, my friend. Okay. And I think we are just about done. Manavjeet says, thanks. You're very welcome. Okay. So Andrew says, my question was actually, I don't know which path would be better for school teacher. Oh, as a federal skilled worker, or I should just apply PNP. Do everything, my friend. Pursue everything that's available to you. Apply through every single program that you're possibly available for. Okay. Max, you are very, very welcome. Much love to all of you guys as well. Okay. And Simba Cam, if you can hear him, he's snoring. Simba, are you snoring? Oh, he says, I'm up. He says, stop bothering me. I'm trying to sleep. That's the Simba Cam. There we go. All right, guys, we'll end off with that. Thanks so much. I appreciate all of you guys because without you, this Q&A would be useless. I hope that it was helpful. And remember, the course is live. Join it, subscribe. And we also have the Spousal one coming up. So there's a bunch of other options. So take care, everybody. It was awesome having you here. And I'm going to forego the intro and outro music so Facebook doesn't block me. All right. Take care. See you later.